The Trump administration has invaded Venezuela and taken custody of Nicolas Maduro. I am not the most informed on the subject, however, I do have some background information from classes which I have taken and videos which I have watched. I watched Bald and Bankrupt and Timothy cross the Darien Gap. I've seen footage live from the ground in Venezuela. I did write a paper on Hugo Chavez and Nicolas Maduro. Hugo Chavez infamously ended the Democratic Republic of Venezuela and nationalized the oil industry, moving towards a communist system. Undoubtedly, the politicians at the time were getting kickbacks from the West to undersell Venezuelan national wealth. In exchange for cheap oil, the politicians were personally enriching themselves. Was his response justified? Well, it's not really for me to decide, but we can judge it by the fruits of its labor. Whether it be by failure of the system itself or due to Western sanctions, the living conditions of Venezuelans did not really improve, and they slipped into hyperinflation. Maybe on the long game, they were actually increasing national wealth, but you'd have to have access to internal documents to understand what the strategy was. As far as the Trump administration's move, they did not go to Congress to get approval for a declaration of war. So they just didn't declare war, even though they still fought war. I would have suggested that they declare war as they breach the border. I understand that that may not be what would be strategically recommended, but if you want to be a follower of international law, that is what is required. Declare casus belli, outline the just cause for war that you have, and then take your military action. That is the proper way of things. The world does not reflect kindly upon this. And to this point, there has been no real evidence proffered about Nicolas Maduro's so-called crimes. The basic argument boils down to Venezuela has drugs, ergo we need to arrest the president. I don't doubt that he's done things, but I'm just saying we don't have any sort of evidence. They need to shift their focus towards building an airtight case against him. But it's important to recognize that this is a breach of international law, on the face of it. The world is not going to regard the United States as having done some good here. They're going to see the United States as a belligerent actor and a threat. So that is why I emphasize again, you must build an airtight case against Nicolas Maduro. You have to prove that there was actually a legitimate basis to doing this. It's unfortunate to see such a failure of diplomacy. One has to wonder whether or not they even gave diplomacy a chance. Again, I don't doubt that Maduro may have not done some things, but the United States has a lot of explaining to do.